you're the guy. All right, speaking of you're the guy, this is the car. Hey, oh my gosh, right? Another Jeep. That's 4 Jeeps this week. So what are we doing in this Jeep? Let's take a look. You guys recognize this from the backside, maybe? Rockford P312 is gonna go in the back of this Jeep. It's a hard top, so we don't have to worry about any water intrusion or anything like that. Let's walk around here. Now, they are Kenwood fans, and we know this because it already has a Kenwood in it. We put this one in many years ago. This is an old 892. We're gonna pull this guy out, and we're gonna replace it with the new 6904. That guy. Right over this one, right over here. I'm guessing he's kind of over that whole motorized screen thing. It's understandable. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna get this thing wired up. Fernando already has the hood open. Yeah, it opens this far. This is so cool. You do have to put a piece of carpet up there, you know, or some kind of cloth material so that you don't scratch it. But other than that, you can open it really far. We're gonna go down the driver's side of the car with this so we can utilize the cool factory hole right here. I have my flex, I have my ferrules, my shrink wrap, heat shrink, whatever you guys like. Heat shrink wrap. People have corrected me on this. I'm gonna call it what I like, all right? Sorry. We're gonna use a Stinger Select 100% copper 8-gauge kit. Yeah, let's get going. Whenever you're like gonna do one of these, if you want to make them look pretty, go ahead and get yourself some of the cool flex. And what you want to do is you want to get it as long as the ground, about 3 inches shorter than the ground. Okay, so, and this is, I think, inch. Yeah, I think this is a full inch. What we want to do first is we want to run these wires through there. This has these cool female RCAs. This is where we actually get those from when we use them in kits, is these. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on like that. Go like this. Just kind of start feeding it all into the end, just like this. All right, once you get them all the way through, go ahead and plug in the RCAs, the aux jack, and also you can add the ferrules to the end if you're using those. Slide the heat shrink over the end, start with the plug first. Grab your power plug. Now reinsert all your harnesses back in. And what you want to do is just kind of pull and adjust everything so it's nice and tight. Let's take a look at the side of this for a minute and let's talk about some of these switches on here. All right, so over here we have the what turns this thing on. That's the remote turn on. So you have the 12-volt remote turn on, you have a DC offset remote turn on, and you have an audio remote turn on. For us, we're gonna put it on the 12-volt remote turn on because we have an aftermarket radio. DC offset and audio would be used if you're going to hook it up to a factory system. Typically what we like to do is set it to audio. And what that's designed to do is if it senses a signal coming over the RCAs, it will automatically turn it on. If that causes any issues or any problems, then we go ahead and select DC offset. One of these two is what you're going to use when you're connecting it high level. The next switch is the high level to low level switch. High level would be if you're connecting to a factory radio. Low level would be if we're using an aftermarket like we are. Then you have your phase, whether it's 0 or 180 degrees. That means you want it to play out then in or in then out. You have your gain, your crossover, and then you have your bass boost. Most of the time, especially if you're running it high level in, keep the gain all the way down. Just give it a little bit of bass boost. This thing is ultra sensitive. All right, so now because it is a Jeep, we want to make sure we insulate these wires up because you will see them if you pull that carpet back. Go ahead and squeeze this back down, put your shrink wrap over it. All right, we're all set. Now we can go ahead and get this into the car. All we have to do is ground it. The rest of the stuff's gonna run up front. Cool. So anytime someone, you know, decides they want to upgrade the radio and they'll ask us, hey, can I just plug in my new radio? Can I just plug it in? I'm buying a Kenwood, I had a Kenwood, I have a Pioneer, bought a Pioneer, and we're like, I don't know. This Kenwood, totally different harness compared to the harness we're taking out. So I mean, they're not even on the same page. Yes, we have this all nice, pretty harness, but unfortunately, no, we're gonna have to rewire it to go to this harness. It happens. So what we wanna do first is we're gonna clean this thing off, get it stripped out so that we can, actually, I have a different idea. Well, there you go. That's why I keep all these things. So we really don't need anything off of here. We'll just leave this just the way it is. Go ahead and cut this guy off here. This is the steering wheel wire. There's no reason to lose that. And then this, we'll just plug back into the radio and give them to them. So now, some Kenwood radios have the green wire and the purple white wire, the reverse wire, attached to the back of the radio. It's actually physically on the back of the radio. This one, it's in the harness. This is the old radio here. It has this secondary plug right here that has the reverse trigger and the green wire. Some of them it's just hardwired off the back. Now, because we are starting over with a totally new harness, I'm gonna go ahead and check to make sure if it's a 4 or 8. I'll be right back. So this one is definitely an 8. It has all 8 speaker wires. It does not have the antenna wire, so we're not going to need that. Now all we need to do is go through this and wire everything up. This one is built on that old platform. So our 3 wires, green, purple, and red, white, are going to be old, meaning they're again green is reverse, purple, white, you know, like we've been talking about. For this one, what we're gonna do is the same as we did on the first one. We're gonna go ahead and cut this green, strip it back, cut this purple, white. All right, and then we'll also cut and cap off the red, white. Now from there, all these other wires are going to be the same. There's nothing unusual about the harness from this point forward. As we said before, anytime you're doing a Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, it's got a blue-white wire. Even if it doesn't have the factory amplified system, connect it. Just connect it to the output of the radio. Do yourself a favor. Let's go ahead and pretty this side up. Now, as we wind the tape down here, we come across the relay. Even though this does not have a backup camera, and it looks like when we put that one in, we actually wired it up thinking that they were gonna get one. We don't have to worry about adding a relay. I'm guessing at this point, they're probably not gonna add the backup camera because that radio's been in there for about 2 years, and they haven't done it yet. Let's take a look at this Kenwood harness real quick. What we have is these 2 green wires right here. One is green red, one is green white. Very festive colored wires. And they say cam positive, cam negative. These are for if you're gonna do Kenwood's backup camera. This will allow you to control the DSP in the camera to change the camera angles. We also have a blue wire, which is an oddity, but if this were to have had the blue wire in the plug, this is the antenna turn-on wire. Buried deep down here in the middle is the blue-yellow wire. This is the famed blue-yellow wire. That's going to connect to this blue-yellow wire here. This is the steering wheel control wire. It is not white. This is not white. As much as everyone wants to think this is white, I don't know how many times people have told me they've twisted these 2 together and things don't work. Yeah, no kidding. This is blue-yellow. If you have steering wheel controls, that's what it gets hooked up to. If you don't, cap it off. All right, so knowing that, now all we want to do is go ahead and marry these wires up together. We'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll mount the new radio into the old brackets. All right, so we have our new harness all wired up and ready to go. We have our trigger here for our remote turn on. Everything else is all zip tied up and looking all pretty. So let's go ahead and set this aside for right now. This radio is a good example of what we talk about when we're talking about these brackets and why we need to sand them. As you can see right here, let me zoom down. As you can see right here, see this space from here to here? here, it's like a 1/2 of an inch, if not more. It might even be 5/8 of an inch. As you can see, this kit works perfect on there because this radio sticks out further than this kit does. We haven't modified these at all. Radios don't look like this anymore. Radios are about the thickness of where this lighter colored gray is. Now, this kit just no longer works for those applications. So now here's the new radio, and as you can see, there it is. There's that little gap. So if we put this on there like that, that looks terrible. I will tell you, out of all these that we've had to file down to get to look good, this one is definitely the worst. This is probably the shortest for sure. We're having to go extra far down into here to try to get it to where it'll sit right. I think that's as far down as I can get it. Done. We have this all set. Let's go ahead and get it in the car. Oh goody, it works. What's the weather like?
It's currently cloudy.
So when you're wiring up a Jeep, this area right through here, this is what we're talking about. This is why we go ahead and, you know, loom over the wire, because there's nothing that holds this in. This is just carpet. There's no like floor sill like there is in the front. So when we fold this back, even though this is the ugly factory wiring, we want ours to look nice. That's why we go ahead and put the loom over it. Because I mean, look, it's just carpet. It is all in the back, all set and ready to go. We have the extra umbilical. That way they can move this around if they want to. They can move it over there, they can move it over here, they can move it back some. Just makes it easier. They can flip it around and fire it up if they need to. And of course, it easily just unplugs and comes out. It's really a nice box for, you know, a simple application like this where you just want a little bit of bass and, you know, you want to not take up a ton of space. So that's what the new radio looks like in the dash. Looks pretty good. Nice and flush in there. All right, so this Jeep is all set and ready to go. You tired of Jeeps yet, Fernando?
I'm tired.
Never tired of Jeeps. Never tired. All right, guys, as we like to say, on to the next one.